Welcome to the Kendy and Raybo podcast, episode 65, recorded in Kendy's box room. You're not trying to watch the game now while we're recording, are you?
No. I'm not. I'm recording. Don't.
Have you got the game on record?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never done that before either. You know that?
So this is the first time you've missed the Liverpool... Well, no, it's not the first time you missed the Liverpool game.
No, I missed Liverpool game for the live show during the comedy festival as well. Yeah.
Oh.
And that was there was people in the middle of the show shouting up the score at me.
Oh, yeah.
But I distinctly think you'll be able to go downstairs now and watch the recording. Well, if just switch the phone off, no one's in nothing.
Oh, actually, I got to text my old lady.
To what?
Wait, no, because every time Liverpool score, she goes lovely, or if they
But you
don't
have
score,
to turn off the phone. Turn off the phone.
Yeah, what if it's an emergency?
Turn off the
won't be.
phone.
It won't
They can
be.
ring me. And there's Nicola downstairs, like.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to turn off the phone, lads.
Nicola, say
I've had this phone 2 years.
your mother's after breaking her leg. And by the way, Liverpool are 2-0. Fuck! Why did you tell me that? Oh, shit, the dog.
All right, lads, in case you're wondering, that's John Colleary that's sitting in the room with us again. Second time round, John.
Fair play to you.
Yeah, I'm back.
You were obviously, we
I'm
obviously
back.
made you very comfortable the first time round.
Yeah, I'm back upstairs in a semi-detached gaff.
Yeah.
Or is it detached?
She's
No,
she's not. She's fully
it's full-
attached.
No, we have
It's
one
attached.
side wall. We have a side wall.
Have you
The
a
roof's
side
not attached either.
She sent me no.
I'm
Yeah.
upstairs again in a house in it with a gable.
Yeah, with a gable end.
In
I
Sligo.
know. Andrew, that's all it takes to record a hit podcast.
That's
man.
right, a gable end.
Only needs a gable end.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Fair play to you for coming back. We
That's all
kind of got the idea to take you back in, John, because you and us both did a comedy festival.
That's right,
A couple of
yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where we met you. Now, I'm going to say, can I tell a story about what happened during it?
Sure.
That should hang you out the driveway. I wasn't actually going to say this, right?
Go on, go on, go
That
on.
was the first thing you were going to say.
All right. So this is called the Kendy and Raybo podcast. You've been
Yeah.
listening to it for 65 weeks, right?
Yep.
John did a tremendous show on the Friday night with Dave McSavage, and he gets up on the stage, and I'm off, and I'm going to go see the boys.
It's your
like,
big night off.
acting like a big dick. Kenny was walking around there like he owned the parish, right? And up onto the stage goes John, and he says, "Look, this is an unbelievable week of comedy."
International
yeah.
comedian John
Yeah,
Colleary.
yeah. International comedian John Colleary goes,
Yeah.
"This is an unbelievable week of comedy." Like
Yeah.
he said, last night we had Owen Colligan. He said the night before we had the Raybo podcast, and I'm sitting there in row 3, and immediately I felt like I went from 18 inches down to 2. Honest to God.
Sorry about that.
So-
Did
no,
you
it's
mean
all
to
right.
do it? Or did
No,
it just
No,
slip your
it didn't.
mind?
Oh, it just slips my mind, man. It just
No,
because
but-
I knew what it was in my head, but then I was talking and I was thinking of 3 other things, and this is what happens when you sort of doing that thing for a long time, where you're on that stage and your just brain is just in one mode, and then information from another source is
Yeah.
multitasking, and it can't. It's over.
Well, in all seriousness, I would never hold that against you. Like I was getting nudges going, "Wait!"
I
like,
was delighted.
But Ray was over the moon.
I was
Yeah,
down in the back clapping.
Ray was going, "I've got a podcast
But the thing is,
on my own."
the thing is, I know exactly what you're saying. You forget 100 names in a minute. Like
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I watched that night, and it was a tough show to do in that you were essentially the MC. You were
Yeah.
kind of picking up from people when they came off, and and
Yeah.
bigging the next person up. But it's an awful tough job. Like.
that's definitely not the first time you've ever done that, though.
Oh no,
you
I've
were
done a lot of that.
flawless by it. It was
it's-
unbelievable.
The thing about that part of it is that in the beginning, when you start doing this thing, that's the hardest one to do. But then, if you do it for years, that becomes less difficult, and it can be kind of awkward because there's 50% of it is you trying to get laughs out there, and 50% of it is you trying to shape it a wee bit and keep it quiet as well, and keep it settled and keep it one one direction. Keep it so as it's kind of compact enough so that people are tuned in always, even if they're not laughing. That they have to be kind of tuned in and ready for the next thing that's coming.
Yeah, because is there a worry that you might blow the next thing that's coming out of the water?
No.
Not like you don't have to sound overconfident. But
No, because the job is so different than the job of doing a set. Because
Yeah.
the job of doing MC is the first thing in your mind is, I'm here to do a different job than I'd normally do. So you're just there to fill gaps, and also to just do as much of how you doing, who you shut up and try. The thing I've done over the years is I've tried to push out as much ad-libbing as possible, and only get to a bit of stuff that I've written at the end of the bit.
Yeah.
Because there's laughing that way. You've done it a few times before, so that's kind of...
Yeah, you can hit a punchline
You're
there
going
and
to get a
that's going to
punchline
work.
with that. But the rest of it, you try and generate energy off the people and then when they have a bit of that, they're ready then to sit and listen to someone go through a well-crafted piece of set that they're not going to talk to the audience. You know what I mean?
And
So-
I noticed as well that earlier that day you did a small set in Conley's
Yeah.
in like a fringe gig.
Oh yeah.
That was when you were walking around thinking you were great.
Yeah, I was going.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
People buying the pints.
You know,
That's
like
Kendy from the podcast.
I got my own artist badge made up.
All
No
right,
one
okay.
else had one. Just
Right,
said artist on a comedian.
piss artist. A piss artist pass.
But you did that gig in Conley's beforehand, like 5 minutes in a pub that was packed with people. I'm not joking. I think 70% of the people there didn't know that there was going to be
No,
a
they
fringe.
didn't. No.
And I was going, this looks impossible. And John, right? He just called people out for the first 5 minutes walking in the door. And not even calling them out. Just hello. Who are you? Hello. And there was young fellas coming in. They were going, what the? And that 5 minutes was the
Magic.
most relaxed comedy I've ever seen. And the rest of those people who were doing, because I've not done this stand up comedian thing, and Ray has a little bit like, but that's where you start out at those fringe gigs, right? They're by far the hardest.
Oh,
to
much
me,
harder.
they must be
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Especially in your own town.
Yeah, the smaller the thing, the harder it is, and also the fact that it's not a paid-in gig that's kind of organised. It's like in the corner of a pub.
Yeah, and there's people there going, what's going on down the
That's
back corner?
always going
like?
to be difficult.
And then you're trying to shout over people that are having a chat, watching the match, and
Yeah,
then doing
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But you just did it and did it flawlessly.
I'd
you
feel
started,
bad.
You started chatting to your man behind the bar. You were chatting to the boys
Well,
coming in the door.
I knew them. Like, I
That's
knew them
the
all.
thing.
You know, I actually
Yeah.
knew those. I know those guys. And it's like a reunion. And going, oh, there's I
There's
haven't seen
himself.
him in years. I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's the truth of it. I hadn't seen them guys in a while. And
But but I know you say that you know I haven't seen them in a while. That's what made it easy or whatever. But it was unbelievable to see and the rest of them were great. Fair play to them. But to see the difference in just the craft of you doing it for the last whatever number of years against the people who are just starting out.
You're
And
hoping
the-
he'll remember your name next
No,
time.
but the
won't you?
comfort
way you're
level-
talking there now.
well, we
That
did a
Kendy
lot of
fella's
that.
very nice.
He's very good.
Myself and a lot of the comics that came through here when we had the model gig as well did all that
Yeah.
around Ireland for years.
Jesus.
The same type of, you think, oh well, you know, you see a guy doing a support in Vicar Street or maybe doing the Laughter Lounge where there's 300 people and it looks like but then the rest of it is 30 people down there, 40 people over there. A gig that you arrive at, they don't even have it set up. There's 20 people who don't want to be there, and there's a bit of rowdy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That happens all the time. Like,
Yeah, it's probably
every week.
It's probably the same as our game too for
Yeah.
a lot of time because like when you land into some pubs where people are going, it's old fellas at the bar going, I don't want to hear music tonight, and your man is roaring out Oasis, and
That's it.
you know they have no interest and I have no interest in being there either, but you just got to do it like.
Do you ever wonder about your life in situations
Absolutely.
like that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
God.
Honest to God, it does. Yeah.
You know, what decisions you made wrong. You're standing
Yeah.
there, there's
I
4
know,
old
say-
lads and the barman, and you're going, why am I here?
Yeah, I know.
And not so much what decisions did I make wrong, is why was I not paying attention when decisions came up for deciding?
No, yeah. Where was I?
Why did I bypass decisions and end up here?
I know. Do you reckon a lot of us just look like? Sometimes you read a story sometimes along the way and you go, guy makes 10 billion off creating an app in his bedroom.
That's more like it.
And I go, what? I'm in the wrong business, Nick.
No,
I'm
not even talking about an app. I'm talking about a handle for a bucket.
Yeah.
I'm talking about something that 1,000 or 100,000 farmers would buy
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a tenner a pop.
Yeah, it's
Do you think we
unbelievable.
miss those moments?
Yeah, I mean, like where, like, yeah. Do
Do you think they actually come to everyone, but we miss them
as in
as people, as in kind of going like?
as in Kendy had a chance to build a Dawson kit and he didn't.
Yeah.
I doubt it, man. I doubt it, boy.
What's your Dawson kit for sheep?
Yeah, well, try to know. That's the only farm language I know.
How did we
You
get-
told me a story about Dawson before. That's the only bit of farm.
I found out an answer to a question, by the way.
Come on, hit me.
We asked in a previous episode, do sheep only have sex at Christmas? Because
I know, don't laugh now, John, because it was a serious question, in fairness.
But I found out, I actually was sitting having lunch there last day with a lad that has 300 head of sheep.
Right.
And I asked him, I said, how come all the lambs show up in springtime? Right?
Right.
All right, right.
And he says that sheep have relations between the longest day of the year and the shortest day of the year.
Oh, right.
Right.
And
So,
I was equally still as curious about this, going, right, so you're telling me between the middle of end of June to
And
the
end of December.
end of December, that's when sheep have the relations.
Yeah.
Right.
And then outside of that, there's no relations had. And he said, no, in America, they do try and trick them into it.
Oh, with the light.
I don't know how to do it. Couldn't ask
Follow
that
the
question. What did they do to them in America? To get them to
No,
have
they
this
set up all the
exercise?
Christmas decorations inside the farmhouse.
That's it.
And the
Yeah.
boys go, it must be Christmas. Come on, Peggy.
That's a small thing there now, in fairness.
Peggy.
Apparently foxes are a big danger at the minute as well.
Are they?
Yeah, your man was going buying a gun.
Was
Why?
he? Yeah.
He's going to buy a gun to take them out of it.
That's a good one. Do you reckon that they're overpopulated in this country?
What, the foxes?
Yeah.
I think they are, because I was looking for a flat in Dublin, and there was out of the 18 people waiting, 17 of them were foxes. And they were all going, can't get a place to live in Dublin. The whole lot of them.
As soon as you started in Dublin there, I was going,
Yeah.
where are you going with this? Out of the fox.
Big sign up with no pets. They were going, we don't have any fucking pets. Poor old foxes.
Oh, for fuck's
Because they're
sake.
not technically pets, like.
That was in Fox Rock.
Was it?
That's a festival
Is-
that the foxes have every
Right,
year.
Fox Rock.
Fox Rock.
Yeah, they've Pantera-based cover
That's
bands.
right. That's right.
Foxy Lady. Bow, 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 bow. Anyway, what were we on about before that? I can't even remember.
Forgot now.
Oh, yeah. No,
Sheep.
Sheep, yeah, before the sheep as well.
Oh, yeah.
No, the comedy festival, I
Oh,
have
the
to say, it
festival.
was unbelievable.
It's good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, again, Brendan put it together, and I think it was, I've done this a long time, and I've been to Sligo for a lot of gigs over the years, but I've never seen, and I mean this, I've never seen consecutive big audiences,
Yeah.
consecutive nights.
Yeah.
For comedy alone, I've seen it at arts festivals. Cordia do it, like, where there's different things going on. A play one night, a band another night. It's like a live the same. But for comedy, 3 nights, and actually 4, including obviously Dermot and Dave were out at the
Yeah, they're in the Radisson.
Radisson.
That was
It
massive.
It was yourselves,
Massive.
Yeah.
Owen, Dave,
Yeah.
and the lads out in the Radisson. That was
Yeah.
immense. That's like it was probably, so it's 3, 8.
Nearly 2,000 people.
At least 1,500 people
Yeah.
that went to see comedy.
Yeah, over 4
Over
nights.
4 nights. That's wonderful.
Over 4 nights in October. Was it October?
That's
or
the
not?
first weekend of October.
I mean, it's actually crazy, but that's tyranny in a nutshell going,
Yeah.
it's like that Field of Dreams job. If you build
Yeah,
it, they
just
will come.
get it
like,
done, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it stands to, like,
And he
it's
can
good.
keep the house now, because he had
But-
mortgaged the house for
Oh,
it.
thank God, he put the
Yeah.
he put the
You're
house up again.
expensive.
He put the house right, Ash, the house up in Carter and that.
yeah.
Huh? It only covered half the cost.
Yeah. That was Owen Colgan's fee, and then how did you get the rest of it?
He got us for that. Look, it shows great stuff for the future. Like, because I mean,
I think so, yeah.
I referred it to the jazz festival that's in Sligo now. That obviously started off as nothing and now is massive.
Yeah.
So the comedy festival is going to be huge, and we're going to
I think
ride
so.
the back of it, man.
Yeah.
Like a prize pony.
I thought
Yeah.
another
gonna
image you had there now, but anyway. I have a question actually, because
Sure.
do you know
Yeah.
the way you were kind of known, so to speak? Do you get people coming on to you, kind of ringing or?
Sometimes I get, not so much, but once in a while, I get messages on Facebook of people that I don't know who they are, and saying, "Here's a great idea." Here's a great idea for
I
a
have one
sketch,
for you.
and writing an entire sketch written
Jesus.
on a Facebook message.
Yeah.
And you just stare at it. I stare at that. I stare at it for about 5 minutes. I read it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I stare at his head and the message again. And then I just go on and watch something else. Look at something else, because I can't deal with it. I go, what's that? What am I supposed to do with that?
Is there a worry that that's someone you know, or you're just like, who's
No,
this?
it's nobody I know.
Never anyone you
Guaranteed.
know.
Wasn't it
like-
funny? It doesn't happen to engineers or electricians.
No.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Like an engineer, you don't
I
get
used-
sending out a sketch of a bridge.
I used to say that about comedy. I used to say that as well. It's just a job.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
when fellas go to you at night, hey, that is a joke. You don't see a fella handing a piece of wood to a carpenter at 4
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning saying, here, do something with that, like.
Yeah.
Put up a shelf or something, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you carpenter, go on, huh? You don't see that, like.
I always say the same, like, Bob, like, I love when someone comes up and says, play that song, like, and you go, sorry, I don't know that song. You fucking do know it. Like, I'd love to go into Sheila's office the next day and do, will you bang up that Excel spreadsheet there? I don't have it. You do have it. I mean, for God's sake.
That's it, yeah. Telling
So-
people what they are.
Yeah. You do know that stuff, so why are you bullshitting me?
Yeah, you're that fella from the Republic of Italy. I'm not. You fucking are. I'm not. I never did it. Don't be fucking. Of course you are. Saw you on it.
But look, I actually get that one a little bit though, because sometimes when you see like your particular group of comedians, you go, which one were they
Yeah,
on?
I know,
It might have been all of them.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it might be
that's-
all of them.
that's
Did you hear poor old Blind Boy Boat Club got found out?
Why, what do you mean?
He was on the Late there the last night.
Was he?
Great performance. And
Right.
apparently, now I've only heard this hearsay. As we do in the show, we don't research any stories whatsoever.
Brilliant.
We just go
Never.
with it.
Yeah. But tell it like it's fact.
Tell it like
you
it's
have
true.
to tell it like
Tell
it's
it like
fact.
it's true.
So
Yeah.
it's brilliant.
Yeah. So
yeah.
anyway, apparently, you know the way he wears the bag in the head?
He does.
Apparently, he was in the shop after the Late, and he must have been ordering a jam on.
And he
more
didn't
than
have a
Colgan.
bag, and he took the bag off his head and put the stuff in it.
Yeah, and it fell out the bottom. The 2 eye holes.
Oh, no.
What?
Listen to the story.
listen,
Come on now,
listen,
Ray.
listen.
No, just
Tell us the
whoever
story,
was-
Ray.
Whoever was,
Listen.
Come on now, Ray. Tell us the story, man, because you're dragging it on, boy. Come on.
whoever
now.
was standing beside him says, "You're a blind boy off the Late, hadn't you? You're the book off the Late." So the voice gave him away.
Right.
So I think that might be the end of the bag for him.
Oh.
But come here.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I wonder,
Here's-
did that happen?
No,
right,
but that
right.
wouldn't be the end of the bag. I mean, that's only one fella inside in the chipper. But come here, that's a good question though. I don't want to see Blind Boy's face. Why would you want to see his face? Because it wrecks the character on you.
I suppose.
Right? I'll tell you the best point about this, right, and where it comes from. Did you ever watch the Ricky Gervais show?
Yeah.
And you know his friend Carl Pilkington?
Yeah.
The internet rages with debates whether Carl is real or not, or whether it's scripted. And my answer to that is, why would you want to know? Because it's hilarious anyway. Why would you want to ruin it on yourself?
I believe he's real.
And that's and so do I. And even if he's not, I don't ever want to believe he's not real.
Yeah.
Because why would I do that? And same with taking the bag off Blind Boy's head. Sure, why would you want to ruin Blind Boy if you enjoy him?
I
It's
probably
a waste
wouldn't
of
want to
time.
know what he looks like. in
No,
the
you
fairness when I
wouldn't.
was thinking
Yeah,
of it.
why would you want to know what he looks like?
You've been in the entertainment. Have you ever seen Blind Boy without the bag in the head?
No.
Ah.
I probably have, but I mightn't have known him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I saw a picture years and years ago because I went to college in Limerick when they were just bursting out like around 2009, and like there was pictures then like all over the place of them as real boys, and I saw the boys in Angel Lane last night. This is them,
Yeah.
and I'd be going, don't be showing me like, why would I want to see him? That wrecks it because I think they're just two posh boys actually, which is worse again. Honest to God,
I'm not sure. I met the other lad. I've met him.
Mr.
Mr.
Chrome.
Chrome.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem to be too posh, and it's Limerick. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
hard to know.
I don't know. Mate. That's probably just the rumors that were going around when I was in college.
Well,
But-
it's an easy thing to kind of throw out there.
Yeah.
When you see two lads being kind of street, as
yeah,
it were,
Limerick City.
and people go, they're probably
Yeah,
posh.
two posh boys.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an easy.
I think
thing
it was just because one of them had a mustache. They were
always
saying,
a sign.
They were saying, right, he must be, man.
He's posh.
Grow the ratty like that, boy. He's posh. What were you going to say, Ray? Sorry.
I was going to ask you, and I suppose current affairs.
Go on.
And poor old Byrne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's a rare opportunity having a book like yourself on. You'd have more memories of Gay than me, would you?
Well, I met Byrne actually one day in a totally just on the street. And I think I was with Mike Savage, and he knew him and said hello to him, and I was just talking to him for a minute or two. That's about 10 years ago, maybe, or something like that. And that was it. And he was a lot smaller than I thought he would be.
They played the theme tunes this morning on the radio, from the Late and from the radio show.
Yeah,
away,
I
yeah.
heard
And I
them,
got
yeah.
all upset.
I didn't know he actually started on BBC. Like,
And for anyone
Yeah.
listening to this in a year's time, Gay Byrne died a day or two ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just in case you're
And
way behind.
From anyone
yeah.
from Portugal or Greece, Gay Byrne was a popular presenter here in this country.
Yeah.
Well, he defined the actual broadcasting because he was pretty much first man on the scene when RTE started in January '62.
Yeah.
That's when the Late Late Show started.
My God.
And he did that for 37 years until 99.
Yeah, 1999.
And he worked, I think it was Granada. He might have worked
Granada.
with Granada.
Maybe it was Granada. It wasn't
And
BBC.
he was the first TV presenter to interview the Beatles.
That's right. I heard that as well.
Yeah.
Imagine the first guy ever to interview the
Byrne
Beatles was Gay
Yeah.
Byrne.
Get
Yeah.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honest
on
to God.
TV, yeah.
I was trying to search it on YouTube yesterday to find it. I couldn't find it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it, like, for me, it was mad because, like, I always remember him from growing up with the toy show, like.
Yeah.
And I remember when he left this is true as God. In 1999, I was 8 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him leaving in 1999 and saying to my dad, I can't watch the toy show now anymore. Because he was like, what about Pat Kenny? I was like, he won't be able to do it. There's
That's
no
true,
way.
yeah.
You just get so used to the same guy. And I was reading about the toy show as well. It started in 1975.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
And all it was a little half hour. They said it was
Yeah.
a half hour at the end of the Late Late Show where the kids be gone to bed, and then he'd say, right, parents, here we go. You want to get the fucking
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
was that?
Hello
Yeah.
Kitty.
It was
yeah.
a help out the kids.
Yeah, it was a help
parents.
out the parents. Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
And then they got the kids involved.
And
like.
now look at it is, it's persecute the parents. I seen it on the toy show, that's what I want.
Yeah, I know, it's mental. But should they have that decided well before, like months in advance, kids nowadays? Like, they know exactly what they want.
Do you know
like,
what you want for Christmas?
I just want world peace, Ray. That's all I want. That's all I want.
And did you hear another fact as well? Pat Kenny was on this morning and he said that apparently another one for everyone in the audience. Apparently that went shite altogether.
After-
well, it was
Yeah.
the odd time.
Yeah.
And then people started going, "What is great?" And it was less about all the people that were on the show, and it was more about what we're going to
Audience.
get
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
and giving out that.
Yeah.
They get free stuff. Jesus.
That's very Irish. That's a very Irishy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's free stuff. Jesus, free stuff. What have got that? Do you know?
Well, Irish people love free stuff.
And I seen
but-
that at the ploughing championships. We were giving away houses.
Yeah.
Do you know, but
That's
obviously
right.
through application and funding and
That's
you know
right.
government and whatnot. But no, all they wanted was the
Yeah.
measuring tape.
The
The,
free
yeah.
beds.
measuring
free
tape
stuff,
on a keyring measuring tape. It's
Yeah.
36 inches. That's all it was.
That's it.
Yeah, Anton and all that's free, like, and in their hand at the moment, Irish people will take, like, doesn't matter.
Can I ask you your opinions on a matter?
Go on.
Do you know when you buy a pint for someone in a pub?
Right, so we're on about Gay Byrne here now.
Well, we were on, but this is kind of we moved slightly.
Right, go on.
Well, when you buy a pint for someone in a pub, and a couple of minutes later you instantly get a pint back.
Yeah.
But doesn't that take the goodness out of buying the pint for the person in the first place?
Well, that's a funny thing about
Depends
Irish
on what
people.
level of an alcoholic you are. Because sometimes you can be forward planning.
Yeah.
Going, I'll buy that fella a pint, and then if I get skinned, that goodwill will get me maybe 3 pints back.
Yeah.
Do you think you get 3 out of it though?
You probably would if you were kind of going, oh man, I'm after.
Yeah.
And he'll go,
I
I get
suppose, yeah. So from an alcoholic's perspective, it's
It
useful.
works out.
But generally, when you're out in a social state and you see someone going, "Jeez, I get you a drink,"
Yeah.
and then a minute, like 10, 15 minutes later, you're not even through your drink, and the drink is handed back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
And you're kind of going, "Hold on now, we're doing the wrong dance
Yeah.
here now. I bought you this because I wanted to buy you a drink."
Okay, fair enough.
Well, the reason I do that, when we go out on a Wednesday, every Wednesday in Fiddlers, if there's 6 of us at a table,
Yeah.
it's great to do around because I have to get up off my arse once, maybe twice in
Oh,
a night,
fair
like.
enough, yeah, that's true.
And like it's a nightmare when the bar is busy. That's why rounds work. Everyone
Yeah.
just takes their
But
turn.
I'm not
getting
talking
the
about
pint,
rounds.
like.
I'm talking about when you meet someone out and said, "Look, thanks for sorting that out the last time. I'm going to get you a drink."
Yeah.
They can't take it.
Yeah.
Like you can't. Irish
Oh,
people can't take.
Yeah,
the drink.
Johnny Fallon, the guitar player in Hot Fuzz, he can't he can't owe you anything.
Won't sleep at night.
No, he won't. He has
No.
to buy one back
Oh,
then
I
as
see
well.
what you mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? Those people that they can't because they
Can't
feel like they're
feel
lower
the-
than you. Then
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
But they owe you something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
feels
yeah.
like they might owe you
They
something.
don't want to be beholden.
Yeah, that's the and I don't know. Is that an Irish thing as well? I take a free pint.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
wouldn't bother
You
me.
take it, would you?
What I fuck course would.
I know a good way of getting around it.
How?
Go on.
When you get into a pub and you see a fella and you're going, oh, he did me a favour for me, just go and buy him 8 pints. Hand him the 8 pints. And say, there, I got you that. There, I'll get that. I'll drink for you now. And he's not going to come back with 8 pints for you. And you're going to have to only spend about, whatever, 40 quid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sussed.
yeah. To owe them forever.
That happened to me. That happened to me once.
Yeah.
I did something similar to that once. When I was asking people at a table, "What do you want to drink?" and one of the lads says, 16 pints. And I had drink taken at the time. I was down in Wexford and I was in a hotel. And I said, "Do you know what? I'll tell you now. 16." So I went
Ray.
up stupidly and bought 16 pints. Brought them down the table.
Jesus Christ, Ray.
That was
I
the
owe-
worst night us as a group ever had anywhere.
Yeah.
No, the best thing to do is say, yeah, I'll have a pint like of vodka.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, true.
Because you have to fill it up
Yeah.
in measures then. Sure, it's about 200 euro.
I know, yeah. 300 euro for a drink. It's brilliant. Monaco prices.
That's the best way, a pint of
Monte
wine. like-
Carlo.
Yeah,
Not
Jesus
County Carlo,
Christ.
Monte Carlo. But like, was I saying? I think I might have been saying it the last time. But you know that it always fascinated me, the thing of the Irish thing of it becoming closing time, or here comes the cops, and the shutters used to. The language was the shutters. The staff wouldn't say anything. The shutters would just go down real quick to a point where you could still get in. And
Yeah,
get a
that's
drink.
right.
This was in nightclubs. And
Yeah.
so this shutter come down. Cops are coming. Oh fuck! Pull down the shutters, and then the shutters would be down. Next thing they'd be back up again, but only up a short.
A little bit, yeah.
And then you'd be in there, and there'd be fellas that were, and then they'd go down further, and it'd be like sort of head, just
A foot.
width of a head.
Yeah.
So people used to be able to kind of climb in underneath it, and the threat of it closing was enough to do your head in. You might even have. I remember one night there was 3 of us out for a drink. This is a long, long time ago. It's 30 years ago, and we had about 7 or 8 pints or 9, 10 pints lined up, and next thing the bar was doing that, and we were freaking out. And
Did you do?
And we ended up having 17. I remember 17. We counted them. 17 pints of Carlsberg all lined
Already?
up,
Oh my
ready.
God.
And we had to have our heads squashed together. And I often thought after that a lot of Irish men and women probably missed their vocation. They could have been the perfect stunt people for those films, action movies, when there's a shutter coming down and a fella has to get under it. And he runs and runs and runs. And any man who's ever been in Maxim's
Yeah.
in the 1980s or any other nightclub in Sligo over the last 20 years is able to get in underneath that just as it closes.
But you'd have to have taps there just so you could see the taps.
You could see taps or a hand with change in it.
Seamus is in the next Mission Impossible, lads, but they had to put Foster's the other side of the fucking yard.
I think we'd be the best in the world at that.
Oh, unbelievable.
Or would have been.
We could have been.
Maybe not so much now. Maybe licensing laws.
There we go. Like we were saying, it's their missed opportunity. That's Irish people at bars. Come here.
Yeah.
Another thing I was watching, I was looking at you there last night to make sure I knew everything about you and everything.
Last
right?
night?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was only watching you, sure. I was only Googling you last night. You did fucking Mountjoy. Loads of gigs inside Mountjoy, did you?
We did a few with the Bohemians Foundation, which is it's a foundation based out of Bowes FC.
Oh, yeah.
And because Daly Mount is in Phibsborough and Mountjoy is in Phibsborough on the North Circular Road, that's part of their community. So Bowes is it's a community-owned club. So there's one man in particular called Tommy Hines, whose actually birthday is today. Happy birthday, Tommy.
Happy birthday, Tommy.
And 5th of November. And he kind of started that. And it was just a basic thing about helping people in the community, but also bringing them, using football as a positive thing, especially for prisoners who, we went into the men's prison mostly. And the women's prison has a football team as well.
Right.
So he used to get players from Bowes to go in, do training courses with the lads for a bunch of weeks, and then they'd have a game against a selection of lads from outside.
I thought you were going to say prison guards, man. That sounds like Mean
That
Machine.
happened too.
No way.
That happened too. That happens with another project where guys that are on TR or guys that are training unit that have access to the outside of 1 day a week.
Oh, yeah.
There was a match that used to happen in Dalymount every September. And I can't remember the actual, was it the Most project or was it something else? I can't remember, but it was all prison wardens and coppers playing against prisoners.
No way. That's pure Vinnie Jones Mean Machine job.
Yeah, same sort of thing, yeah.
That's madness.
So through them, Tommy knows me and I've known him a long time, so he said, why don't you come in and do something with, try do a bit of, so we did a few workshops with prisoners.
What kind of workshops now?
Just comedy workshops.
Comedy workshops.
Yeah, we went in and got people who were interested, met the bunch that they were told about it, so we met the bunch that turned up that were interested.
Right.
And then out of that bunch, maybe 10 guys sort of turned up the first day, and then kind of we lost a few here and there, and people disinterested and various other things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like they were checking out stuff.
the stuff, well,
Yeah.
and also
Maybe.
just other issues to do with them personally. So we ended up with a half dozen maybe, and we put on a gig.
In front of the prisoners, no?
In front of prisoners and a few guests.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then we did it again in the training unit that same year or maybe the next year. And that was good as well. And then since then, we tried one more, but they'd kind of done as many workshops, and it's the same guys
Right.
a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
So we more or less now just still go back in on occasion and just bring another comic in, someone else from Comedy World who wants to do a gig in the prison, and some of the guys that did the workshops get up and do a few minutes
No
as well.
way.
So that's part of Tommy's vision about community in Northside Dublin and linking it in with the club.
Yeah, yeah.
And trying to work two sides of it really.
Would you
But essentially trying to just put something into the because it's not just the prison. The foundation thing does schools in the area and the homeless and the elderly, senior citizens groups.
Yeah.
So it does a whole range of things just to kind of do something and also to reflect back on Bowes as a club.
I suppose that kind of makes you like the Johnny Cash of the comedy world then. Heading into Mountjoy.
Except I don't have an award-winning, million-selling live album.
Oh,
Why not,
yeah,
Jess?
true.
Jesus, John, you have a long way to go, boy. Don't put yourself down like that.
But I think Johnny Cash was probably about... he was a lot younger than me when he did that.
Because I shot a
Would you
man
do
in
it, Kendy?
Sligo. I did it. I've done a gig in Castlereagh Prison before.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. When I was 14-year-old, I was in Castlereagh Prison at Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, for a gig.
Yeah, no, this is a belter, right? In music class, right, we had this new hip music teacher who wanted to change the game, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And I says, give me the guitar, you
That's
bitch.
music teachers like.
Yeah, they're all, you always get one. So she came in for a year while someone was on maternity leave, and she had this great idea that she'd bring all the kids into Colleary prison, like, and she somehow got it through. She wouldn't tell us for ages, right? She was saying, we're doing a special gig somewhere, and the way she gave it away was she said, I can't tell you where it is, but you're going to get searched on the way in.
Yeah.
And we were like, boom, we're going to Colleary prison. And it was, I hadn't been in Colleary prison before. And it's, when you walk, you ever been in Colleary prison, no?
No.
No, I mean, for the right or wrong reasons. I don't mean
Yeah,
like,
no,
what did you do? But when you walk in, there's a housing estate on your right hand side. Big, full housing estate, like. And that used to be used, I think, for IRA prisoners, I think.
Yeah.
And now it's used for people who are in protection, like,
Yeah.
you know. So you see that. And we went into general population then. About 14 students, 2 lads.
What age are the students?
We were 14.
Right.
Yeah, so there was about 14 music students went in, 2 lads and whatever 12 girls, and then the female teacher, like, which is obviously a worry. We all get searched on the way in. We're excited. We walk into a room with 200 prisoners, right? 2 prison officers on the door, like that, leaning in the door, like that.
Really
And
easy going.
I was like, this. I'm not sure how safe this is, like. But it was an unbelievable reaction. We did a big heap of Christmas songs, finished with Fairy Tale and New Kendy, and everyone came up. There were all these prisoners coming up. For some reason, I don't want to sound like this is judgmental. The Dublin prisoners were the ones that were like, I'm going to go talk to these. So like, I got loads of, here, your man, you're deadly, boy. All
Did you
that
get any
kind of
Dublin
stuff.
compliments?
Yeah, loads of, I used to play myself. I thought Phil Lena how to play the bass.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't any of that at all. It was mad. It was really surreal. I just couldn't believe how laid back the prison officers were. I was like, who are these people?
That could have easily been 14 kids and their teacher taken hostage in Castlereagh.
Yeah, I could have been on the Roscommon Herald the next day if I like.
Yeah,
wouldn't have known.
Made the papers at last.
Yeah. My body did
What,
anyway.
what were we talking about before that? You said about you were looking me up. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
something I meant to tell you about that.
Go on.
And I don't know if I told you just before because I'm always forgetting what I said. But
I probably won't remember anyway.
Because I was around before the internet sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I still kind of find it funny when people want photographs as well.
Yeah.
I still find that funny. And
With you.
pardon?
With you.
With me, yeah.
Right.
I go, what do you want photographs of? And I think Ian Asprey from The Cult carries photographs of himself in his pocket.
Hands them out.
And when people say, can I have a photograph? He goes, yeah. And he hands
No
them a photograph.
way. What a
That's a good
must do
idea.
that.
I'm going to
Jeez.
do that.
That's a great idea.
I'm thinking I'm going to do, when I took a photograph, it's on my phone of myself with my arm out as if I have it around somebody. So if anyone asks me for a photograph, I'll give them a copy of that and say, now you take a photograph of yourself and just put it beside it.
Does it make you actually really uncomfortable though when someone asks you for a photo?
Sometimes out of nowhere, yeah. But
Yeah.
I was in a pub in Sligo a couple of years ago, and we were doing a table quiz thing.
Right.
And there was a fella standing at the bar, younger head, and he had his phone out, and I could see him glancing over, and I knew he had clocked me for the thing. So he was looking, and then at the very end of the night, it was hours later, he said, I was just googling you there the last 2 hours. And I said, you could have just come over and said hello. And he said, no. He says, can I get a picture? And I said, yeah. So it was arm around each other kind of thing. He had the phone out. And then he said, oh, wait a minute, I can't take this picture. And I says, why not? He says, because I'm not meant to be here. He was in the Ship Inn, I think it was, or the Harp Tavern, some of them. And he says, I'm not meant to be here. And I said, you know what? He says, well, don't show it to anyone. And he went, oh, yeah. Just keep it for yourself.
Look at it
Just
every
look at you
night.
and me when you go to bed. There's me and John. Don't tell the world. Just you and me.
For fuck's sake.
Do you think people don't take, like, there's no lot of photos that aren't put up at this stage?
But it's a reflex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like photograph,
Up.
share,
lads,
post.
I'm not joking, right? I actually felt sick in my stomach on Sunday night, Ray. Mate, you came into Lily's to the gig on Sunday. There was a girl there. It's great. I don't know her and she doesn't know me, so this doesn't harm her at all. She was there for the last hour and a half.
She's the girl that came in with the camera on and the
No,
flash.
Ray, no word of it. Am I over exaggerating
No,
here?
she
She
was-
held the camera, John, for an hour and a half on herself, like that.
At a gig.
And dancing. At a gig, dancing with everyone around her. If you're friends with her on Snapchat or Instagram or whatever it is, you got an hour and a half story of just her face. And all the boys, like, she couldn't. It made me really genuinely sad. I'm only 27-year-old, lads. And
You're not 28 now.
28.
I am 28 now,
Yeah.
actually.
Happy birthday.
Jesus, good. I always forget my age.
When's your birthday?
The 23rd of October.
Oh, very good.
No. So, but it really made me sad. I was like, that girl, that's her night out, like. the camera in front of her. And I wouldn't mind, she was tripping over everybody and everything.
Yeah.
She couldn't lift
And she
your
had
head.
the flash on as well. She looked like a Honda 50.
I swear to God, there was a Mars Spider coming in to do her, man.
That's funny.
It was a Wolseley.
You know what you said
If she
about
was
the
wearing
whole...
a white top with red sleeves, she'd look like a Honda 50.
It'd have to be a bag of shopping hanging off her waist, though, you
I
know?
know, vest
Either
back.
side. You still see them up and down to Ballina.
Oh, man.
On
Taking
the
along
finest.
at 30 kilometres an hour.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
all the shopping
That's it.
pinned to the back.
Yeah.
But you were saying about celebrities, or not celebrities. You would be deemed as a celebrity when you're met out.
Well, it depends on
100%.
who meets.
Well,
You know,
I know someone who met you in the shop who shall remain nameless only in the last couple of days. And this person was unbelievably starstruck when they met
Really?
you and couldn't speak.
was this a man?
A woman.
Oh.
Yeah, a woman met you in a shop. Don't be trying to think of what it is now.
Was talking to me, no?
No, not talking.
All right,
Kind of
okay.
stopped. Deer in headlights moment. Jesus.
No way.
It's your man from the television.
In Sligo.
Yes.
All right.
Now,
And this is what I get to here as well, because I sound like a wanker now.
Oh, we all sound like
get-
wankers,
I get this here all the time. You know, I'm down in Sligo. And I'm saying, oh, you're fucking, you're a man from fucking Savage. What the fuck are you doing here? I said, I'm from here. No, fuck am I? Yeah, I'm from Ballassadare. And then they go, oh. Then they're disinterested.
Yeah,
Sorry
then
to
they
hear
go,
that.
all
It's
right.
no longer glamorous.
No,
Yeah,
he's
no.
one of us. He's one of us now.
Yeah.
Sure, that's not
do you,
interesting.
do you not find that Irish people inherently stay away from celebrities? As in, they see like Sarah Jessica Parker above in Donegal and go, I know, leave her alone. She's on holidays there.
I,
Leave her alone.
I would be that way.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are like that.
It depends on who the celebrity is, and it depends on where your fucking likes and dislikes are. If you say if you're a sports fan, like I've met a lot of, quite a few people in TV, like in actors and people that that are well known as shit. But when I meet footballers, sometimes because I follow football all my life and played football and was mad into it when I was a kid, I sometimes get starstruck there.
So do you have gotten starstruck?
Oh, I will be starstruck by footballers and musicians.
Anyone in particular that you could say?
I remember meeting. I remember not. It's just when I see them, go, oh, there's fucking Johnny Giles one day. There's Johnny Giles.
No way.
Yeah.
And Johnny Giles was sitting in. I was doing a thing in Today FM, and my brother had bought me. Niall had bought me Johnny Giles's autobiography.
Oh, yeah.
For Christmas, and he had seen John Giles in a shop in Cork, and he'd say, "I'll go in and I'll get him to sign the thing," because he was signing books.
Uh-huh.
I'll get him to sign that, and I'll give it to John. And my nickname is Duck, right?
Right.
So Niall went in and said, "How are you, Johnny? This is from my brother. I just say to Duck." It's from John, and he went, and Johnny Giles went to Duck. Yeah, Duck there. What do you call him, Duck? Is he swimming or what's he doing? And he went, no, it's just his nickname. Thanks, Johnny. And he gave it to him. And then I met Johnny 6 months later in Today FM, and I said, "Oh, Johnny Giles, how you doing? Lovely to meet you." "How you doing, son?" "Yeah." I said, "I got your book. My brother bought it for me." And I see you signed it and everything. My nickname to Duck. And he said the same thing. He said, "Duck." What you call Duck? Swimming or something.
Why are you called Duck? Why would they
It's
call
just
you
because I
Duck?
was splashing in puddles when I was 3 or something. And the lads across the road went, "Look on him, he's like a little duck."
Is it? I love that. I love those stories of how Irish people get their nicknames.
Here's another thing that was in his book, which I thought was an amazing piece of, an amazing example of Irishness, right?
Right.
When Ireland were trying to qualify for the 1966 World Cup in England, Giles was in that team, and there was tiny groups at the time, and there wasn't as many teams involved, and they got into a round robin thing with Spain. So there was Spain and someone else. So they had to beat Spain. I don't know if they had to beat them twice or whatever they did, but they played Spain home and away.
Right.
So they went and they played in Spain, and they were not fancy to beat Spain, and they didn't fancy themselves to beat Spain. But in the first half of the game against Spain, in Spain, Ireland scored a fucking cracking goal, like top corner, whack, and they were so shocked. The Irish team were so shocked by going ahead, they didn't know what to do, and they were standing around going, "What the fuck? We're after scoring." And the Spanish team picked up on that and went, "Oh, something wrong with that," and started hassling the referee, saying, "Nah, that goal, something wrong with it," and got it disallowed.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
And got it disallowed, and Ireland went and scored again,
Right.
and then they still got beat 3-1.
Jesus.
But
But
they were so disbelieving of their own
goal.
ability.
Yeah.
They went, "Oh, that can't be right."
It can't be a real goal.
That's a fact.
No, surely we didn't. No, we must be
we
seeing
couldn't
things.
have done that.
No, we must
And they
be
were
seeing
okay
things.
about getting it disallowed.
And the weird thing is, that was probably a good Irish team back in the 60s. A lot better than it is nowadays. Like,
well, it was
but
definitely,
John Giles playing in centre midfield. Like,
definitely better than it is now.
yeah. I want to ask this. You might not have met him or known about him, but we lost Brendan Grace recently enough as well, who was in your game.
Yes.
And I just want, did you know him? Did you have any memories of him?
Never met Brendan Grace, but did like what he did.
Yeah.
Just naturally funny. And I mean, you know, there's so much comedy and there's so much, you know, when the 80s kicked in and the notion of alternative comedy kicked in, the likes of Brendan Grace, people like him were kind of disregarded in a way by a cooler thing, you know. By
It's very clean.
In Britain at the time, there was like in the 80s, there was like, because people like Brendan Grace and people his contemporaries in Britain, the likes of
Tommy Cooper,
and although Cooper was a different animal as well, like and Jim Bowen and Jimmy Tarbuck and Mick Miller and all these people that just did gags.
Yeah.
Right? There was them, and then that was kind of railed against in a punk rock type way.
Yeah.
And then you had this early 80s Alexei Sale, Ben Elton, political comedy, alternative comedy, Rick Mail, the young ones, the comic strip, Keith Allen, all that stuff. So they kind of slightly disregarded that bunch, but that bunch have their own merit as well, especially because some of them, like any group of entertainers, some are good and some are not good, but Brendan Grace was brilliantly funny as a human being and extremely, extremely on the ball and would have done nothing else in life.
Yeah.
And was doing that from his teenage years.
Yeah.
Was doing performances, and then he got into comedy at a time when there was no stand-up comedy in Ireland. Really, that's why probably why he moved.
Well, I was going to say he reminds me a little bit of you because he had that performance on stage before he even kicked into comedy at all.
Yeah.
Because he was actually a balladeer, wasn't he? Like a guitar player.
He played. Yeah, he did tunes, and he did a lot of theatre as well.
Yeah.
So
because he used to have that old variety show back before
Yeah.
I was even born, like where there'd be all kinds of stuff on it, you know. But the one thing I will say about him, and you pointed on it there, Ray, he's definitely the cleanest dirty comedian I've ever.
There's two types of a night at Christmas in our house. Brendan Grace is on. My mother and father in bits laughing.
Yeah.
And in fairness, we're enjoying it too.
Oh, yeah.
And then they put on the Tommy Tiernan show after that. One of his comedy shows.
Yeah.
And instantly the mother and father sitting there, big scowly old heads, and them going, he doesn't have to say that.
Yeah. I know. Well, I mean,
Why can't he be nice like Brendan?
I remember a Christmas because we did a Savage Eye Christmas show in 2011, I think.
I think I remember that.
And so it went out a few Christmases after. I went out in 11, 12, 13. For a few 4 or 5 years, every year it was out. So then one Christmas, and my dad, God be good to him, he was in the chair, my mother was there. And the TV, I was the only one, my brother and sister were in their houses, it was Christmas Eve. And Les Dawson was on. And there was a best of Les Dawson. There was bits of stand-up. There was him playing the piano, doing the raw, which was an immense, let me tell you, an immense talent to be able to play a tune slightly wrong. Just slightly
Comes
wrong.
naturally
He'd be going
to Kendy.
but just one note, and the whole thing was gone.
Yeah,
and,
the other
and,
way.
and it was gone into comedy. It's gone from boink.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant.
Yeah.
So he was really brilliant. So they were laughing their holes off at him. And next thing, the Savage Eye came on, and it just went dead.
No.
And I'm in the thing. This is my parents.
Yeah.
And they were just, oh, well, I said, do you want a cup of tea, John? And, and then half an hour of that, and I passed, and then Brendan Grace was on, and they laughed.
Yeah.
Laugh again.
It's probably just generational, I think.
Yeah,
maybe
well,
a little bit.
There's a certain impact to what Brendan Grace did. It's not selective. It's just bosh.
It's straight down the middle.
Even if you don't laugh at that, you're going, well, I can see why that's funny.
Yeah. It genuinely was straight down the middle gags. Like.
Yeah, so...
But they were, like, Brendan Grace...
It was
Bar Tommy, like, Brendan is the one for me, like, that I grew up with as well, like, you know. And I loved every second
the way
of
he
it.
kept
like.
it clean was marvelous.
Yeah, but he kept it dirty and clean. Like, he was
This
always hinting.
innuendo.
He was always innuendo. He was always hinting at the dirty
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff, and that's probably what it was for those people, because they couldn't say it either back then. And he was hinting at the stuff that everyone was thinking about, without ever saying it. You know what I mean?
I went to see Des Bishop on Friday.
Oh, we're going full comedian now,
You
have
went?
I went, that's right. He was in the Hawkswell.
Oh, was he?
He was.
Oh.
And I have to say I enjoyed it no end.
Good.
And I
Nice.
wouldn't have ordinarily gone to see Des Bishop.
Good.
But I just happened to go, and oh my God, what
Brilliant.
a show! But it was filthy,
Yeah.
filthy,
It
rotten, dirty.
wasn't Brendan Grace anyway.
The last 10 minutes was about eating things, putting fingers places, falling asleep on ties. And in fairness, it was. I laughed a lot, and then I realised I shouldn't be laughing as much as I'm laughing.
Well, that's true.
It's about bulimia or something.
There must be
The way you're describing it.
something along those lines.
Eating things and putting fingers.
That could be bulimia, actually.
No, yeah.
We shouldn't be joking about that. No,
we shouldn't.
something a lot more funny.
We didn't joke about that just there.
No, that's taught. But come here, that's a good. Do you ever? I've never heard you go down the dirty route. Like, I mean, like, does your show ever get ropey in that situation?
I don't know. You'd have to ask people that listen to it because I can't remember half of it. So
Tell you that sometimes.
sometimes maybe, but not really because I don't have. Some people have the ability to carry that. Mm-hmm. Some people have the ability to go right into that area, as it were, but carry it like in a confident way that they know, they like it and they enjoy it. And if acts enjoy, and that's what it's all about, enjoying it. So if you're enjoying yourself doing the thing, then people generally go along with that and they'll enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
So some guys can enjoy, and some guys and women obviously can enjoy going down that route and getting the full treatment.
Yeah.
And once you get past a certain point with it, it's easier to take it as an audience and to do it yourself.
You kind of break the awkwardness.
But it's something I haven't tried.
But is that it? I mean, that's the amazing thing about comedy, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That like I don't know if you ever think about it when you're on stage, but when you're up there, you're not going shit. I wonder can I fucking say this actually?
No, you just
You just say
You
it.
just
like-
say it. But I found, and you'll probably know where I've found it. I found in a couple of shows that I've seen recently, some things are said and everybody kind of went, intake of breath.
That's
and
a good
go,
thing.
Yeah, but that's more on the person, I think.
Yeah.
That's only me saying, what the fuck does Kendy know? That's more on the person themselves not being able to carry that kind of weight. Like,
But
you know what I mean?
One comedian I've seen recently, and I was wowed at it. And I have to say, I was wowed at it. A joke that was kind of pushing the limits was said.
Right.
Yes.
And then it didn't kind of work because it was pushing the limits. Not that it didn't work, but everybody kind of went, Jesus. And then the person went, and I must say the person, not to give away, but the person went, I don't think you really got that. So I'm going to tell it again.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
Yeah.
And that was done, and I just kind of said, wow. Like the stones on that person
To say it twice.
to run that same controversial joke twice.
Yeah. Well, some people live on that border, boy. No more than up the northwest.
I'd love to be in that space.
But you could be, boy. You did an 8-week workshop on the
Yeah,
on
but
the
I'd
stand-up
never. I
comedy.
don't think I'd ever have.
You're the same. The two of you are the same people. You're both.
I know we both have the
professional comedians.
qualification. We're free tech level 5.
You
on
both
the
got the
comedy.
free tech level 5. You're both the same people.
He's just more experience than I have at the minute. You know, I'm only starting off.
I got work experience out of it. Like.
Yeah. John, we're going to have to cut you short now.
Sure, yeah.
We have.
It's time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his time.
We have another guest coming in just for a few minutes.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lad, a poet, English lad.
Ronnie
All right.
Dangerfield, his name is.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, he's from Manchester.
Are you
He's-
sure it's Ronnie Dangerfield?
What's his name?
I thought it was. I saw
Feck, I
a
hope he doesn't
poster
hear
from
us. Hope he doesn't hear us.
Maybe if we've
Dan-
got the name
Danny-
wrong, that's going to be embarrassing.
Danny Hashfield.
Danny Hashfield.
Yeah.
Danny Hashfield.
He's a poet. Yeah.
I messed up. He's from Manchester, lives in Sligo. So
yeah.
we're going to get him in. Is he there, Ray?
He's here. But thanks very much yourself for doing
Thanks,
that.
lads. Thanks a million.
No bother at all. Thanks,
See you
John.
again.
Good luck.
Thanks, John.
See you. Bye.
Good luck.
Bye.
Cheers, that was John. Fair play to him.
Who have we now, Ray?
We have
All right, lads.
Tell everyone your name again. Sorry, though.
It's good to be here. My name is Danny Hashfield.
Danny Hashfield, ladies
Danny
and gentlemen.
Hashfield, yeah.
Danny-
It's good to be here.
Thanks for coming.
Nice to meet you, Kenny. And
Ray.
Raybo. It's good to meet good lads
Yeah.
in Sligo. It's a lovely town, I have to say. Yeah, I've been here a few months.
How long have you been here?
I've been here since January.
All right.
Yeah, it's a few months. You know what I mean? Well, 9, 10
And
months.
from Manchester.
From Manchester originally. Yeah,
What took you to Sligo?
I just loved it. I just saw it, and I Sligo. Why not go? I thought, I'm writing poetry.
Where did you see the advertisement?
You were
I
poet?
saw. I'm write poems. Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. I'm kind of. If you've heard of John Cooper Clarke and maybe Matt
Oh,
Gedder,
yeah.
sort of in that
Outside the box.
Yeah, outside the box. Yeah.
So did you come to Sligo for inspiration? Is that what it
Well,
was?
I read a lot of W.B. Gates, and apparently he really loved the landscape around here. So I had to come and see for myself to see where he got the information from.
Okay.
So I've been around. I've seen the lovely mountains, Ben Fulton, and Colleary over there.
Knocknarea.
So I got
Yeah.
So I got myself a flat up in Bumcliffe.
Oh, right. Okay.
And
Beautiful little neighbourhood now.
it's right under Ben Fulton. So
Right.
I've been very inspired by the landscape. It's rugged. It's cold, but it's got an inner soul that, you know, I've only ever seen in Bury.
Right, okay.
In Bury in Manchester.
Bury just outside of Manchester.
Yeah, and so you've obviously fallen in love with the place. Like,
I've fallen in love with the place. I've written a few lines here and there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Would you have a few?
you know, it's if I can just kind of break into something here.
yeah, see where it goes.
Hanging around Sligo town, feeling a smile but wearing a frown. Going to Tesco, let's see how that goes. Getting a bus, the S2, what we gonna do? Go to Mullaghmore, feeling it more. Mullaghmore, at the door in Mullaghmore. Feeling a bit strange, so walk to Grange. Grange in Grange, people are strange in Grange. Ben Fulton.
That's unbelievable.
So, you know, I think the landscape's
That's magic.
That's very John Cooper Clark.
totally inspiring. And I love Sligo, I love it. And I'm gonna move around the county.
Where are you staying?
I'm staying in a bed and breakfast in Giva.
All right.
The one you got the pronunciation of that lovely.
Giva.
Giva, yeah.
It's a lovely place.
Yeah.
Giva. And I've been all around the West Coast and been up and down to Galway and stopped off in 2 a.m. It's a lovely place.
2?
Yeah, 2 a.m. Yeah. And it's you know, I've heard so much about 2 a.m. that because I've done a lot of moving, done a lot of traveling. So someone told me, like on the way, it said it's a good place for travellers,
right,
to have a rest. It's 2 a.m.
A different kind of thing, I'd say,
Yeah.
Mr. Hashfield.
Yeah.
And have you been up to the God's County, as they call it, Donegal? Have you been up that far?
I've been to Donegal. Yeah. It's lovely. I just love it. I've been up to Donegal. I've been to the town that's your own namesake, Letterkenny.
Yeah.
You know,
Letterkenny.
you know what I mean. I feel like it could have been a giant post office and someone sending a letter to Kenny. And I've written a poem about Donegal. Can someone send a letter to Kenny? Going down to Glencolumkill. Don't put the kill in the will. March by the mountain, over by Bridge End. Where are you going, friend? Where are you going, friend? When I like to have a look, take my time in Byrne Foot, Lahey, Donegal town. When I've had enough, I like to go and bury my head in muff.
Jesus.
I'll tell you what, that's staggering stuff, but I think you're onto something.
I hope to be able to produce more work here in the west of Ireland. So I'm looking forward to maybe getting starting a poetry club, get it going.
Yeah, well, let's do it, boy.
I think we should do it.
Yeah.
Mr. Hashfield, thanks a million, boy.
No, it's been my pleasure.
Can I ask you before you go?
Absolutely.
My sister, Joanne, is a huge fan of yours.
Right.
Massive fan. She's been following your work, following your career.
Right.
And it's her birthday. It's her birthday today, Wednesday.
Right.
And would there be any chance, would you have anything maybe off the cuff for Joanne? She's redhead, right? She's turning 28. She's a teacher. That's about all I have for you.
Joanne, 28. You know what, love? It's never too late. You can do it all. You can be what you want to be. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't live in Kilmovie. Joanne, you can be an actor. You can be a singer. Don't let it hold you back, the fact that you're a ginger.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 65.
Let you enjoy
Thank you.
it.
Yeah, and thanks to John Colleary earlier there in the episode, and thanks to, what's your first name again?
Danny Hashfield.
Danny Hashfield.
Danny Hashfield, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll see you next week, I suppose. Good luck to you.
Good luck.